Mabuhay mga kababayan. Hello everyone. You are watching America's first and only daily talk show for and about the Filipinos, where every day on Kababayan LA we either celebrate Kababayan Pride by featuring Kababayan achievers. We also talk about Kababayan issues. But you know what? There's been an issue within the community that I've been wanting to talk about, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Specifically talking to our Kababayan Filipino Americans, the second, third, fourth generation Filipino Americans, may be born in the Philippines but raised here, or born here and raised here in the States, and so they're very much Americanized. So what part of them is still Filipino, and do they even care about things like that? Do you think about things like that? We have representatives from SC PASA today joining us on Kababayan LA. Of course, Jumar, you've met before on the show, right?
Yes.
And SC PASA is Southern California
Filipino American Student Alliance.
And this is a group of the different
SC PASA is an alliance organization that is composed of the different Fil-Ams collegiate orgs scattered around Southern California.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today on
Thank
the
you for
show.
having us.
Your parents are watching?
Yes.
Grandparents watching too? Yes?
Yes.
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 Chloe is beside Jumar. Hello and welcome to Kababayan LA.
Hi.
What do you do with SC PASA?
I'm their board of advisors, so if they need any resource or anything, I'm there. I'm just a phone call away, maybe a couple of miles away. So
Wonderful. Yes, and this is on a voluntary basis.
Yes.
This is aside from your regular load as
Yes.
college students, right? And Liz is here on
Hi.
the show as well. Hello and welcome to the show.
Hi.
And your title with SC PASA?
Well, I'm also a member of SC PASA, but I'm also part of UCR Katipunan. I'm the president for the Filipino organization on campus.
UCR Katipunan. Okay, so we've talked about this. When I invited you guys, the first thing that I was going to say is, you know, I was born and raised in the Philippines. I just moved here not a few years ago, 9 years ago. And so I am a Fil-Im, Filipino immigrant. And Fil-Ims don't really know much about Filipino Americans or Fil-Ams like yourselves because, you know, there's an interaction, but it's not really in-depth. And the show today is for us to get to know you better. So you look Filipino, but you speak like an American. You're Americanized. You like American things. Are you aware of that? Is there a longing to connect to being Filipino? Do you identify yourself as Filipino or American? Is there a distinction? Who wants to go first?
I could go first. Personally, for me, I was born in the Philippines and I immigrated here with my family at the age of 5. Even though I am very much Americanized, I very highly consider myself more Filipino than American.
Why is that?
Just because with the involvement that I do within the Filipino community and the pride that I have for our Filipino history and culture, it's something I hold dear to my heart, which I think really defines me as a Filipino.
Right. What about you, Chloe?
For me, I'm more Americanized. I didn't really get into the Filipino culture till I got into college. And then so I carry both aspects, but people do see that I can be more Americanized because I do have a lot of Americanized friends. But when I'm with my family, when I'm with my Filipino organization, we just carry that bond, that like being Filipino.
Let's talk about that. You said you did not get into the whole Filipino thing until college. Why is that? Was it because, I know parents sometimes discourage their kids because they want their kids to be immersed in the American culture. Was that for you, or it just wasn't available?
It wasn't available. My mother, she was born in the Philippines and was she came to LA when she was 16.
Okay.
And so her main goal was to be more Americanized.
Right.
And so she carried that with our family, and just I think it was me more, when I got older, it was me who, I was the one that,
Yes. What triggered that? What triggered that wanting to search and wanting to connect?
I think going into college, it was just more finding where I should belong, and that's where I got into it. I came across a friend, and he was like, "Join our Filipino club," and I'm like, "What? Like, you guys have a Filipino club?"
Right.
So, I mean, just doing that, I found a common ground with everyone.
Liz, where do you belong? Would you consider yourself American or Filipino?
Well, I consider myself Filipino, even though I have a similar situation with Chloe. I was born and raised here. People consider me sometimes to be a little whitewashed in the side, and I do admit I do have that American side. But when an American asks me what are you, I don't just say I'm American, because we're all American. To distinguish ourselves from the different Americans, I say I'm Filipino.
Okay. But what makes you Filipino? Is it because your parents are Filipino? Is it because you look Filipino? You have darker skin? You have flat nose, like I do? Is that you eat Filipino food? You dance Filipino folk dances? Or does it go beyond that? We're going to be talking about that when we return on the show. Don't go away.